We often hear about AP and Rolex, brands that are extremely well known and you can't buy even if you walk into the store with the money. There are watches that represent investments and popular watches that have been a boom in recent years. The hype around these watches is real and everyone wants to own a Rolex, everyone wants an AP because they symbolize success and economic power. But are these watches really worth it? I recently bought my first AP and I can say it's obviously thanks to my job that I've been able to acquire several other Rolexes and recognizable pieces with hype. But let me tell you the truth, they do feel different. These watches have excellent manufacturing and splendid quality control. I mean, if they didn't, people wouldn't buy them or seek them out. Sometimes marketing alone isn't enough to maintain the status. The quality of your pieces has to match up with everything else. For example, speaking of Rolex, I would dare to say they are the most popular watches in the world, but they are also really well built. They're tanks. They can handle impacts, they can be tossed around, they withstand snow, water, camping and climbing. You see my point? They are perfectly constructed watches that can endure a lot. And that's what people really want. A watch that demonstrates their status but can also handle everyday life. And I can tell you these watches feel different for various internal and external reasons. I mean, sadly, it's a reality that people treat you based on how they see you, how they perceive you. It's not the same to wear a complicated gold Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso as it is to wear a basic Datejust or Submariner or another Mars Piguet. The fact that people can recognize their watch on your wrist makes them treat different because it means something to them. It represents that you have money, that you're successful. I mean, unfortunately, yes, people do treat you differently. I mean, of course, not everyone, but it does happen. But then there's the internal aspect. The way you can reach into your watch box and see your watches, and I'm using, of course, watches as an example because that's what I talk about, but it could be a house, a car, a plane, any item that shows your success. It could even be a piece of clothing, a suit, a shirt, a tie, shoes, anything that reminds you of your achievements. I mean, there's definitely a mental shift when you put on your Patek, your AP, your Rolex. You walk differently, you feel different. Your demeanor changes because your confidence grows, because you're reminded of everything you've accomplished. And that's the beauty of basically any piece, whether or not someone recognizes it. Just having something that reminds you of your success is priceless. I mean, these watches are where they are for a reason, and owning, enjoying, and wearing them doesn't add value to you as a person, because many people will write, you feel some material things to give you value. And no, that's something different. I believe those who criticize are often those who have never felt this way. But that's the true appeal of these hyped pieces. They represent something that enriches you internally and externally. But let me know in the comments, which hype piece do you like the most?